Who in here is willing to sit in a small desk with no room or space for 8 hours a day to learn, and if you move to get up for just a minute, you risk getting sent to the office? Any of y'all?
No.
As all former students, these small cramped desks are where we all had to sit an entire school day with the only break being lunch or the restroom. If we moved too much or got out of our seats, we were instructed to sit back down quietly because we were distracting the class. As a prospective teacher, my job is going to be centered around classroom management. Part of classroom management is to create and maintain appropriate behavior of students in the classrooms. Professor Ann Toff states in her partner Journal of Learning Spaces that classroom design with flexible seating creates a community of learners. In my speech today, I would like to propose why flexible seating in the classroom should be required. I would like to discuss what is flexible seating, how classroom design impacts student learning, and why flexible seating should be used. To begin, let's first discuss what a flexible seating classroom is. A flexible seating classroom is one in which traditional seating charts are replaced with seating arrangements that allow the students to sit where they choose. Instead of desk, there may be beanbags, a stand and work table with no chairs, or even something as simple as a desk with seat bands, where a student's feet rest to reduce fidgeting. Since flexible seating allows students to sit where they choose, the amount of time a student may spend moving around to get comfortable in their desk or walking around may decrease, which will then lead to better attention. Flexible seating is a great option for classroom management. By allowing students the option to choose where they sit, the risk of unwanted behavior can be reduced. Since I have discussed what flexible seating is in the classroom is, next I would like to talk about how classroom designs impact students' learning. A 2015 study on the impact of classroom design on pupils' learning, published in the journal Building an Environment, found that changing some core elements of classroom design can increase student learning outcomes by 16%. The study focused on 153 classrooms in 27 schools in order to identify the impact of the physical classroom features on the academic progress of 3,766 pupils who occupied each of those specific spaces. Light, temperature, air quality, ownership, flexibility, and colors were all factors that affected the students' learning. Okay, and here is the statistical information for that study. The main goal of anyone in the education field is a student's success. State funding, standardized tests, and teachers' workshops all revolve around student learning achievements. Unfortunately, classroom design, which impacts a student's learning significantly, has been put on the back burner. Luckily, more research that involves classroom design impacts and flexible seating is affecting some educators and making flexible seating more accessible. In short, classroom design affects the way students learn, and flexible seating is one way to change a student's learning positively. So why should flexible seating be used? According to ConnectingElements.com, classroom design has the power to impact students' well-being and motivation for better or worse. Students spend a lot of time in the classroom, and the classroom should be more warm and welcoming. Today, research shows that classroom design does affect the way a student learns. Flexible seating offers students the option to choose where they sit. It is common for students to want to move around in their environment. On a typical weekend, students are outside moving around and exploring their surroundings. If students spend most of their daylight hours in school, shouldn't schools provide better ways for students to learn? There are many options for flexible seating that provide a student with access to freely choose where they sit in a classroom to learn best. It is important that educators understand the research behind classroom management and flexible seating. It is even more important to provide students with a warm environment with flexible seating. All in all, flexible seating should be a requirement in schools. There are many options for funding flexible seating and different types of flexible seating that provide students with a welcoming learning environment. Okay, here's the grant information for that. sign up for your classroom and for flexible seating funding. Today I have discussed with you what flexible seating is, how classroom design impacts students' learning, and why flexible seating should be used. All of us are former students of a classroom. We didn't have the option to have flexible seating in a grade school. We had to sit in small, cramped desks 8 hours a day, and did we enjoy that? Because I know I didn't. As a prospective teacher, I will write grants, start a crowdfunding, or pay for flexible seating myself if that means giving my students a better learning environment. All students deserve the same feeling we get when we walk into Starbucks to sit down in their own classrooms environments. After all, a classroom is where a student spends most of their daylight time 9 months out of the year. And then here we have an example of a classroom with flexible seating and like the prices of flexible seating